Hi, this is my video for the second weekly discussion for my humanities class. Uh, After reading God Loves, Man Kills, it's pretty obvious that there were a few underlying themes scattered throughout the entire story. One of the themes illustrated throughout this comic that I pulled from the PowerPoint and the module is a story of discrimination and prejudice. It is fairly evident throughout the comic that this story was supposed to be, or supposed to resemble, the civil rights movement that began in the 20th century. From the very first page, you can find an uncanny resemblance between the act that the purifiers commit against the brother and sister who appear to be mutants, along with the displays that served as messages to other mutants, and the acts that organizations like the Ku Klux Klan committed against minorities, such as lynchings, during the mid to late 1900s. While the authors of this comic want to make this message of anti-racism easily accessible to younger audience, they still pretty bluntly convey the central theme in this way in order to help the younger audiences understand the climate that surrounds them in their respective countries, mostly in the United States during that time. Another example of this theme in this story is when Stryker gets in the accident with his pregnant wife. He is forced to deliver the wife's baby as a result of the crash, and then he finds out that his own child was a mutant, or a monster, in his eyes. So he then proceeds to kill his wife and child out of rage and hatred. This event is where Stryker's hatred of mutants stems from. This result illustrates one of Stan Lee's points in his statement posted in the module, which was how a lot of people's perspectives of different races is formed by one seemingly negative experience. The authors wanted to illustrate the unfairness of this mentality so that the reader doesn't develop the same mentality. In the first chapter, Katya can be seen scuffling with a man that she says was harassing her and claiming that he had been using offensive terminology towards her consistently. This illustrates how certain ethnicities had to, and maybe still have to, deal with constant harassment solely because they were different. Now for the second part of the question. It does surprise me that many of these comics included these dark themes, and that they were so on the nose about the way they presented these themes. Because for the longest time, I just thought comics were merely for entertainment value. So I was oblivious to the messages they held. As a child, I didn't seem to notice that these awesome superhero stories held some sort of underlying issue that my adolescent mind couldn't understand. But as an adult now, one can clearly see that these messages were so obviously inserted into these stories. That is all. Thank you.